We've got some drama that belongs on Lifetime, not Reddit. Starting us off, Mom had an affair 18 years ago. I am the product of it. My dad just informed me of all this. Oh boy.
That's a bad day.
This story came July 7th, 2019. Pretty much the title. I have no idea how to process all of this, and I am completely unprepared for what lies ahead. Both my older brother and my sister went to the same college. My brother graduated 2 years ago. My sister is set to graduate in 2 years. Both had their college paid for by my dad. Dad paid all of their college expenses, including rent, food, their cars, pocket money, you name it. My brother has a job now, his own place, lives together with his fiancée, and has his life together. My sister already has a good paying job, and my dad still pays for almost everything for her. I got accepted to the same college, which was always the plan, and was looking forward to talking with my parents about the next steps, and asked them to help me the same way that they did for my siblings. I always assumed they had put money aside for my college the way they had for my siblings. Instead, I was met with a story about my mom's cheating, how I am the result of her cheating, and how my dad is not willing to support me anymore moving forward. Dad told me that Mom had 18 years to let me know and prepare me for the future, but obviously she never did. So Dad is not your actual dad then? Is that what we're getting from this? You're a product of her cheating? You actually have a different father? He said it was never his place to say anything since I am not his son and didn't want to interfere with Mom's parenting. Apparently, my grandparents know I am not my dad's biological son, but they haven't bothered to tell me anything either. My siblings had no idea, and they are as surprised as I am because there was never a hint of anything being off. I might be naive, but I always thought I had a great relationship with my dad. We go to see sports together, we go fishing together, he tutored me when I had difficulties with math. My dad is an engineer. He taught me to drive. I never got a hint that he stores resentment towards me. I mean, he gave me my name and has explained what my name means, and he was very proud of it. It's a story he tells me from time to time. He likes to talk about stuff like that about me. But I feel like that's what Dad wanted to do. He didn't want you to ever feel the resentment that he might hold about the situation. He just wanted you to feel included and loved like the rest. That's what I got from that. My mom has never said a word about anything, and apparently she was supposed to have the talk with me, but she never did. I feel abandoned and unprepared for what lies ahead. I'm not even sure I will be able to go to college anymore. I always assumed my parents would pay for it. I never had a job, and I'm not sure what job I can get to support me through college. I have no idea how to apply for loans. All my mom has done is cry and apologize, but nothing of substance. She has no idea how to help me. I don't even know if I am welcomed home anymore. It's all up in the air. I feel shame leaving my room, and if I will be asked to move out, I don't know where to go. I don't have any savings, maybe $400 put together. I'm angry at my mom. I'm confused about where I stand with my dad. There's a man out there who is my father that never wanted to have anything to do with me. I feel rejected, and I have no idea what to do to fix this situation. Does anyone here have any idea what to do here? Do I apologize to my dad? What should I say to him? I don't know. I've been stuck in my room these past few days, reading and browsing Reddit. I have no idea what to do.
First of all, apologize for what?
Your mom had an affair. You came into the world thinking, here's my parents. What do you have to apologize for? You didn't do anything wrong. You were born and existed the family you were born into, as far as you were concerned. Your mother should be apologizing to your dad. Also, though, parents, chime in here. If you have chosen to stay with Mom and take on this kid as your own, I don't know how you would feel good about not helping that kid at all. Through college, through this, I don't know. I understand it was a product of affair, but you stayed, you raised the kid, you acted like dad, but when college comes, it's like, oh, well, by the way, you're a product of an affair, so I'm not helping you. I don't know. That's not sitting right with me. And I'm a product of divorce, and I have step-parents, and I don't know. I can't imagine it wasn't, I guess I didn't come from an affair. I don't know. I'm stressed. It's just not sitting right with me at that point. All right, there is an update, and it came 1 week later. I am not sure if it's what you want to hear, but things are more or less back to a normal state if you consider other events. Unfortunately, my grandpa passed at the beginning of this week and I am still processing it. I did manage to talk to both my mom and dad, and I know where I now stand in relation to them, as well as my siblings. I am not sure I would have had the courage to say what I had to say if not for the amount of help and advice in the comments. I think it's safe to say both my parents love me, and what happened 2 weeks ago was an overreaction to a fight between my parents. It makes me uncomfortable knowing I am not aware of my own environment, but a stranger in the comments can tell me what's happening in my own life, only a few lines of text from my side. A lot of comments were spot on about what is happening in my life. I have gone so far through 40%, I estimate, of the comments, but I've given up. There are too many to keep up with. The conclusion is that I am definitely going to college. It will be the college I've always wanted to go to, and I will have the same experience as my siblings. The money to pay for all of this already exists. My family is not going bankrupt as suggested. My dad had just a mental breakup with all the issues around my grandpa and had his fight with my mom. Even if my dad would have gone through with his decision, my grandma let me know that my grandpa left me and my siblings a sum that we will have to split between the three of us, but it's enough to put me through college. We started the entire scandal with poor timing on my part. My parents just had a fight and then I showed up like, hey, pay for my college. My parents were talking about us, their children, and mom said something to the lines of, to think you wanted to split up when I came back pregnant. Or something like that. I was not there. This is just what she told me. I guess dad was talking about how proud he was of his children, and mom wanted to express her gratitude for dad raising me as his own, and dad took it as the affair was the best decision I ever made, or something like that. And their fight escalated from there, and mom told dad something like, what makes you think any of them are yours? Mom? Why? Yeah, it went downhill from there fast. No surprise there. Shortly after that, my dumb face showed up, and here I am. Dad and mom have since made up. Mom is still a mess. Dad is not handling my grandpa's passing away too well either. I did talk to my siblings, and my sister raised a storm and wrote it here while blasting my parents on the phone. My brother was calmer, but made his feelings known in no uncertain terms as well once he got back home. My grandpa passing away sort of kept spirits calm, I guess, and shifted the focus to dealing with that. Reading the comments was a mind-opening experience. I felt unprepared for the world out there. Many have asked how I had no idea how to apply for loans or grants. Well, in my defense, when you go year after year after year knowing you have nothing to worry about and that your college is as good as paid for already, you don't really have to worry about anything else. I guess. I mean, I had to get a loan for university because no one was paying for it but me, myself, and I. So until I had to do that, I would have no idea how to get a loan. And at the time, I'm pretty sure I was like, okay, mom and dad, what do I do to get a loan? I'm sure I had questions. You don't really know until you have to do it, or unless you ask. Of course, I knew there are loans and other things that students have to be aware of, but it didn't apply to me. I went from, I'm going to college, can't wait, to, you're not my son, and I will not pay for your college in less than 24 hours. Others have been prepared for this. At the very least, they knew they had to get a loan or get a job, look for a place to live, and so on. For me, it was a sudden change in reality. Going through the comments, I managed to put a list together with various tips and tricks. What jobs are available for students, how to find a place to live, how to get a credit card, a bank account, a cell phone plan, and so on. Oh, you don't have any of that? Well, at 18 though, not a lot of people don't, I guess, if they just live at home. I moved out at 17, so my situation's very different. I had bills and rent by the time I was his age, but you don't learn all that stuff until you're out on your own most of the time. My parents have been called more names than they go by, and that was uncomfortable to read, and I haven't even read all the comments. I can't even imagine what else lies in the comments waiting. But Dad is very sorry, apologetic about his reaction and behavior. I understand his reaction, but I still feel hurt by it. I understand he was not in the best place of mind, but I can't control my feelings either. We will be all right, and this hasn't irreparably damaged our relationship. Mom hasn't handled everything that well, but she's coming around, and she even answered some more questions for me.
Like who your actual father is?
When mom had an affair years ago and got pregnant with me, my parents started divorce. Mom moved in with the man that she had the affair with, but after a few months, that guy decided he wanted nothing to do with it. He kicked mom out and she had nowhere to go. So my grandparents took her in because she's still the mother of their nephew's grandkids. Mom and dad got back together. After a lot of work, dad took me as his own, and that has been my life since then. The man who is my natural father is not in the picture anymore. Dad didn't really know who he was, and mom hasn't heard or seen anything ever since. He was fully aware mom was pregnant with his child. I guess he had more important things to do. But it doesn't sound like he was about to cure world hunger. She met him in a bar, not at a fundraiser. And I don't feel a need to know any more about who he is. I thought about the matter the last 2 weeks since I've been aware of everything, and I haven't really felt a desire to know who he is, where he is, if he's still alive, if I have other siblings out there. I was suggested to go and buy a DNA kit from 23andMe. Maybe I can find him that way, but I think I will avoid doing this specifically so I don't find him or he finds me. As far as I care, I have a mom and dad and a brother and sister, and that is my family. Moving forward, I plan on getting a job and becoming more independent, but not in an attempt to distance myself from my family, but to feel like I would not be lost in the world if my family suddenly disappears. Not a bad idea. Having any kind of independence is good, even if your parents can help you out. My mom admits I've been way more babied than my siblings and that they should have prepared me more for what's coming next. I did learn where I stand with my family, and it's safe to say that I am loved and I have options. I thought I was isolated, but my world is wider than I thought. Grandparents, siblings, my aunt, my cousins, they all have my back. I think my parents are human and they make mistakes, and even though this was not their greatest moment, I think I will look at everything as nothing more than a weak moment in an otherwise wonderful relationship. Edit. In my family's cultural background, grandparents call their grandkids nephews as well. Stop calling me names. It was not a mistake, please. So grandparents call their grandkids nephews and nieces, not grandkids. That's interesting. I've never heard of that before, to be honest. All right. Happy ending. I was happy to get some clarification that there was like a fight between them, and that's why dad was like, I'm not paying for college, because that was not sitting right with me. And I'm happy that I got an update on that, because I was like, something ain't right here. Something ain't right. We got more stories, but we're hopping on hydration station first, because I'm thirsty and I'm reading a lot. I deserve it. Cheers. Am I the a-hole for reporting my ex and her husband to the police for stealing my property? Initial reaction is no if someone stole your property, but we're gonna read and find out. There's always more to the story, literally. My ex-wife, 39 female, and I, 41 male, share custody of our 3 children, 16, 14, and 12. Equally, and no child support is paid. Our marriage didn't end on the best of terms, and we communicate through an app only when required for the sake of the kids. She has since remarried and has a 15-year-old stepchild and a 13-year-old stepchild. Her husband and I do not speak either. We've had some issues with my ex keeping property that is mine if the kids have it on her time. It started with a cell phone. I gave our eldest my old phone when one of my ex stepkids broke his phone. My ex then told our oldest they were keeping it at her house, and she refused to return it even when I went over there and I asked. I was told she had every right to confiscate it. I followed up with an email and she told me to get over it and that she would not hand it over. The next time our daughter, 14, brought some of my tools into school with her for an assignment, but it was a custody exchange day, so she left my house but went home to her mom's. My ex believed it wasn't appropriate for her to have them, so she took them and refused to return them to me. Again, I got a written exchange as proof. The last time was with our youngest. I let him use an old iPod for a class assignment on recent old tech gadgets. Apparently, her 13-year-old stepchild had the same assignment on a different day, and she decided both should get to use it. I told her it was my property and she had to return it, got another email exchange, and then I contacted the police. My ex gave the stuff back, but she lost her mind over me getting the police involved for petty stuff. She said I could have demanded it back after her stepkid used the iPod, and I told her that she wasn't giving any of it back, and what I give for my kids is not for her stepkids. She brought up how more serious trouble could have come from it, and I told her it would be deserved because you cannot steal someone else's property. She told me it was just my spiteful side emerging because none of it was a big deal, or I never would have given it to my kids, which I think is the dumbest argument. The phone was because her stepkids broke our eldest's phone and she wasn't about to replace it. Our daughter needed tools for school and it was only for school and she wanted to return them to me, but her mom said no. And then the iPod was just for our youngest. I'm not here to help her stepkids in any way. My ex and her husband and their mom, if she's still in the picture, can do that. So am I the a-hole? I need to hear from people who are co-parenting out there. I have divorced parents. They divorced when I was literally 1 year old. So I remember this being an issue sometimes with things where we would go to my mom's for the weekend and I would bring like certain toys or this because I wanted to play with them. And then I'd bring them there, but then I wouldn't bring them back, or I would forget, or my mom would forget, or whoever. And I remember it being a thing sometimes of like, well, that, like, I bought that toy, that stays at our house. It's tough. That stuff is really, it's tough when you're going back and forth between two households. I feel like it's just best to like never send your kid with something, but at the same time, it's for a school assignment and they just happen to be going home to the other parent's house that day. Very confusing, very hard. Let me know your thoughts. Next up, I think my girlfriend has been trying to get me fired from all of my jobs. I'm shaken. Please help me. Immediate thought, and I could be wrong for this. First immediate thought coming to mind, she's crazy. It's about jealousy. I have a feeling she's gonna be a crazy jealous girlfriend who wants him to get fired from all his jobs because she doesn't like him around other female coworkers. I could be so off, but I'm just gonna put my guess out there right now in case I'm right. This story came September 20th, 2020. I'm male 24 and I've been with my girlfriend, female 29. Oh, so she's older. Let's call her Janice, for 2.5 years. I just finished my education when we started dating and I have been doing all sorts of jobs since. Sometimes 2 at a time. I did this to expand my resume and gather job experience. I worked in cafes, bookstores, a library, a grocery store, and as an English tutor. Most of those jobs lasted about 3 to 5 months. My shortest stay was 2.5 weeks, my longest 8 months. But since I didn't have a hard time applying for new positions, I tried to block it out, though it was kind of eating me up internally. People called to complain about me. People left bad reviews about me. People used my employee Wi-Fi access to look up sketchy things on the internet under my name. Former employees called to inform them about me, right name and all, and much, much more subtle stuff that I can't disprove. But I was too anxious to do anything about it. I just told my girlfriend, she comforted me, she supported me every time I got my life ruined by these people, but I kept going, though they kept finding me. Fast forward to this week. I currently hold a part-time position at a bakery. I've been working there for 2.5 months. It's going okay, but my manager approached me about something regarding our Google reviews. Someone was complaining about an employee and their description of them could only really fit me. It was on a day where we were pretty short-staffed, so I could have been the only person in the store that day for all I know. Anyway, their review contained some pretty elaborate and nasty comments about me. This has happened on 1 or 2 of my jobs already. I told my manager that this was all pretty bogus and that someone had a vendetta against me, as it has happened before. She believed me and told me that she will dismiss the comment. On my break, I checked out the review myself. Their username was kind of stupid. I'm not going to type it out here since I still work there, but I'll just call them Mick Myrtle, as it was in the same range of sounds kind of fake name, but not really. Anyway, I come home, but I don't tell Janice about it. She has heard it all before, so I don't see the point in complaining about another time where I almost lost my position. We chat, all is well, and she leaves the room. Her phone is on the table, and suddenly she gets a notification or an email of some sort from Google. I don't remember what it said exactly, but the pop-up read something along the lines of, Mick Myrtle, manager, has responded to your review. Oh my God, it's her. Oh my God, it's her.
No.
Oh, put this in a true crime documentary on Netflix, even though no one has. It's like one of those catfish documentaries, one of those. You guys, this is so off topic. So off topic. You need to watch Unknown Number, the high school catfish story on Netflix. And then we need to come back to each other and talk about it because it's absolutely insane. My heart dropped. I've been trying to ignore it since. This was 2 days ago. It just fits in the picture of bad reviews. It fits in the picture of the phone complaints my workplaces have received about me in the past. It fits in the picture of all the sketchy things that I've been fired for. Why would she do that though? I'm looking for an explanation. This literally can't be. She's the only thing keeping me sane. I don't know what to do. Okay, but she's also the only thing keeping you insane and making you lose your jobs, if this is correct. So we have an update. This update came 22 days later. First of all, yes, we broke up. Okay, well, there's a start, rightfully so. That is why I will be referring to her as my ex from now on. Anyway, let's start from the beginning. On the Monday of the following week, I couldn't take the uncertainty anymore. I told my ex I needed her booking account to book a train ticket to visit my dad for a few days. She complied, and when she was in the shower getting ready for work, I booked my ticket and started looking through her emails. After some digging, I found an email to herself which contained a spreadsheet file. I sent the file to myself, printed it out, and took a screenshot. Why? The spreadsheet contained about every single information about me that there was. Numbers, emails, passwords, work times, colleagues, their numbers in social media, as well as some emails and passwords that she used for accounts to ruin my life with. Everything was on there, conveniently sorted for her to ruin my life as efficiently as possible. When she left for work, I decided it would be best to immediately pack my stuff. Nothing that mattered would be left behind. I felt like a wanted man, like I was being hunted despite nothing being seemingly out of place. I love to say I told you so, but I knew it. I knew she was crazy. I just knew it was gonna be one of those crazy girl stories. We don't know if it's about jealousy yet, but does the motive matter? That's some cuckoo bonkers Looney Tune behavior. I called my boss, told her I would be taking some time off work, and headed out to see my dad. Needless to say, he was the sanity I needed. I cried about everything I saw. I panicked for a whole 2 days straight about how my life was ruined and I didn't know what to do. He had to sleep on the couch in the guest room because I was so scared of my ex coming in. He handled it like a champ. I love you, Dad. He called the police and a lawyer and most recently a therapist for me because I was in the most horrible state of my entire life. We're currently sorting out the legal stuff. I haven't talked to my ex except for letting her know it was over and that she's a sick psychopath. My dad handled the rest. I changed all my passwords and I'm now looking for a place to live. You guys, we have an update. And this is a big one because this one came 2 years later in October of 2022. So we're going to find out what happened legally, where he is now. I'm so excited. We ended up not taking her to court over it. Oh my God. Okay, well now I'm just pissed. Y'all hear Lila on hydration station out there? Mowing down on her water? Hydrated queen. This is quite controversial considering the abhorrent things that she's done to me, but I do not regret this decision. The satisfaction of seeing her get punished would have been overshadowed by the sheer amount of dread, anxiety, and fear I would have faced in those court hearings. I was a nervous mess. I couldn't eat for weeks without throwing up. My dad had to settle most of the important stuff because I physically couldn't. Thanks, Dad. On a bright note, our lawyer settled the situation beautifully in private, and I haven't had any problems with her since that I'm aware of. I've moved houses, I got a stable job, and I found the closure and justice that I was looking for through therapy. I hope she did as well. I've had zero contact since then, and I still haven't read any messages that she sent me those years ago. Of course, I'm nowhere near done with this journey. I still have all my social media accounts set to private, and I insist on keeping a low profile online. I still get anxiety, especially when there's problems at work, but I haven't had any panic attacks in months, and my therapist has been great. I don't know how she's doing. I don't know if she's moved on or if she's seen this story float around the web. Hello, YouTube, TikTok, and Snapchat.
Hello.
I don't know how much she knows about how my life is currently going, but nothing's happened since then that I could attribute to her schemes. All right, well, I'm selfishly pissed you didn't take her to court because I feel like she could have and should have got the justice that she deserved. But you know what? Maybe we can just believe that the universe will do its own karma. It's gotta just be that, I don't know. I'm looking for my answer as to why she did it. Because you getting fired also doesn't benefit her life or her financial situation. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on all these stories, you guys. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I'll see you tomorrow.